Hey, how to book 5 sales calls in 7 days without running ads.
If we have the technology to do this, then we're going to create the world's best high value content offer right here for one of our companies. I don't know which one.
It's like a legal loophole to where instead of paying taxes on 10, I'm paying taxes on 2.
It's going to be a 15-minute transformation. You fix something in my life that I need.
In marketing speak, that we would call that
that's the key words, right? And I think you said it earlier.
raising their hand, giving you their email, DMing you on social. But we have to give them a compelling reason to do it.
If you want to convert your traffic, it's not because it's broken, it's just because there's no mechanism there.
The literal dollars and cents that you're leaving on the table if you do this wrong.
We took hospitality to a new level of humanness. And I think that is what the win was there and why it got such a chord.
The biggest mistake that I see a lot of businesses make.
The basics of losing traffic.
That's why we have the platform that we built and how we built it, because
and the human harness is what's going to be hospitality as we know it in the future. And if you don't think about it right now, I think you're missing the boat.
And now you've got a CRM where you're able to have this conversation across multiple platforms, but really you're able to see it as one single conversation thread.
Okay, well, what do you do with that CRM tool? I don't know. The team does it. Well, as a business owner, that's negligent.
Use the tools so that you could be more human.
You want it? You're like, yeah. And I'm like, want to buy my other stuff? You're like, bait and switch.
Because that's going to become more and more important as we go into this world with more and more robots, more and more AI.
Here's my 3-ingredient umami bomb to keep in the fridge always to save any recipe that might be disastrous.
Quit leaving money on the table. Engage with people.
That's the problem. I don't know means you have a pain point and you're not aware of how much money you're losing every single month.
What's the pleasure, the desire that we could similarly solve in 10 to 15 minutes?
That because you're an expert.
How to get result in time frame without pain.
The ones who I love working with, that's why I love working with you guys, is that you get it. You say, hey, here's a high value content offer. If you want to make the shift from where you are now to where you want to be later,
they're on to the next thing so quick. So like we got to capture them while we got their attention. Yep.
Easy solution. So Is that the formula or do you have a different formula?
So bro, before we started recording today, we were talking about something that I think would be worth talking about while we're recording. And we spent a lot of time talking about conversation and engagement. It's great once you've got that going, but before that happens, something really important has to happen. Like, we have to get someone to raise their hand. We have to get someone to reach out. We have to give someone a reason to actually DM us or a reason to actually give us their email address. So how in the heck do we do that?
And what do we call that? Is that inbound or outbound?
Yeah,
Marketing.
no, great question. So like in marketing speak, that we would call that like demand generation or inbound marketing. HubSpot really made a name for the idea. In fact, their whole like conference that they do every year is called Inbound. Because they were one of the first technology platforms or CRM platforms that went out there and said, hey, it would be important to market your business in such a way that you create demand where you have people chasing you. That's different from like outbound marketing where, you might go door to door or cold calling, or a lot of businesses, you put a sandwich board on someone or have them spin a sign outside your restaurant. That's like outbound marketing. Inbound is where you actually create the demand and you have people chasing you. But in order to do that, like, you have to create something I call the hell yes hand raiser. You have to get people going like, hell yes, like, tell me more about what you got. Like, hell yes, I'm in. You want them kind of like coming down and chasing you, raising their hand, giving you their email, DMing you on social. But we have to give them a compelling reason to do it, because people aren't just going to like trickle in just because you're open for business.
Yeah, and I think in my camp of marketing agency, like, we grew up in a push and pull kind of methodology, right?
Yeah.
Either you push your agenda and your product on people and you spam them and get in front of them whenever you can at every cost and hope for the best, or you create a pull, which is demand, and you take orders, which is the dream, right?
Yeah.
So far left, far right. And our goal at our group has always been at Taste Network is just to create some kind of pull marketing effect. And now I think demand generation or demand.
Yeah, demand generation.
Demand gen.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the key words, right? And I think you said it earlier. What's the hand raiser that gives a person a reason to come off of their email address and trust you enough to give you an email address. It has to be a juicy hand raiser. I'm just not giving it to anybody. It has to fix a problem right then and there. I've got to feel I feel like for me personally, I got to feel hope that this is going to change something, or it's going to be a 15-minute transformation. You fix something in my life that I need, that because you're an expert. And I'll give you my email address for that.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. I think of it kind of like the single serving problem solver. Like you said, I think you hit it on the head. I just hosted a workshop with a bunch of clients yesterday where we walked through this process. We actually helped them create their Hell Yes hand raisers. What are the things that they could put out there in their marketing that would get people coming into their doors going, hell yes, like I want what you got. I want your free stuff. Also, it's got a bridge then to their paid stuff, their products, their services. And I like thinking of it as a single serving problem solver. Kind of like if I'm at the airport and I've got a headache and I drop into the Hudson News, I'm going to get, a little 2-packet of Advil, ibuprofen, maybe a Coke Zero. Like that's going to solve my problem. I'm not going to the nutritionist to figure out like what's going on with my hydration levels and my, the rest of my nutrition to figure out if I can prevent this thing. It's like right then and there, I just need like a quick solve, a quick fix that then might be a bridge to something more later. So it's like, okay, how do we come up with those ideas to, really the bait that gets people interested? And I'll tell you like where this shows up as like the problem that I see, the biggest mistake that I see a lot of businesses make is one, they just don't do this, or they don't realize how much business, how much money they're leaving on the table because they're not doing it, or because the stuff they're putting out there just isn't compelling enough. Got this guy, Jack, that I was working with a couple years ago, and I shared this story with my clients yesterday. And Jack had built up a pretty good amount of demand because he had a lot of referrals coming in. He had brand partners and ambassadors that would send traffic to his business. And he specifically had a software company, but they would come to Jack's site. They would send traffic and sign up for his services. But we realized like, oh, there's all this traffic. There's already all this attention, this like foot traffic he had created for his business, and he was only scooping up like a small percentage of it. So he said, okay, let's come up with a Hell Yes hand raiser. For him, it was just a simple PDF. And we threw that at the top of his website. It was just like, have you seen those little like sticky banner bars? It's like 10 pixels high. It might be just like a little sentence. It'll be like, hey, do you want to get our free thing? Click here. You've seen those before, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just one of those. Yeah, exactly. And we added, we went fishing. We threw some bait because there were other calls to action on the website, like get a demo, contact us, get more information, follow us on, like all those things were already there.
The basics of losing traffic.
Yeah.
I call them.
It's like, but there was a leaky bucket, and we realized it because as soon as we put that little sticky banner at the top of the site, he started generating an extra 20 to 30 leads a day. And when I did the math with him, because they ran Facebook ads too, like they have a marketing budget that they were running traffic to, based upon what it cost to get a lead, what they had to pay Mark Zuckerberg and Meta to get a lead. If he averaged 20 leads a day over the course of a year, he would have had to have spent $74,000 on Facebook ads to generate the same amount of traffic that we instantly got for free with the traffic that was already flowing by because we put in the right hand raiser on his site. And so like that's the value of getting the right hand raiser in place. Like what's the thing that we can create so that someone will give us their email, so that someone will DM us on social, because chances are if you're any good at what you do, you actually already have traffic, you have attention, you have people that are flowing by your business every single day. You're just not scooping them up because you haven't given them a compelling reason to do so.
All right, so let me phrase this back. You're saying, hey, folks, you aren't stuck because of effort. You're stuck because of a broken model. And if you want to convert your traffic, it's not because it's broken. It's just because there's no mechanism there. You just need a mechanism for conversion. And if you want to do the shift and you want to move from survival to scale, you go one offer, amazing hand raiser, lead magnet, clickbait, high value content, whatever you call it. One offer, one traffic source, and one conversion mechanism. You put those things in there, you're going to go from survival to scale. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, 100%. it's one piece of, what we call your acquisition system, your marketing and sales that needs to be in place in order for your business to grow. Because for your business to grow, we have to get in front of more of the right people. We have to get a bunch of strangers that don't know who we are to discover us. Then we have to get in a conversation with them. Then we got to sell them stuff. Whether you're a brewery, a winery, a venue, a hospitality brand, an event business, it doesn't matter. It's all the same thing. It's like there's people that don't know us. We put marketing out there so then they discover us. We give them a reason to reach out. We have conversations. That turns into money. And one of the best ways to do that at the very start, we might get their attention, but if we don't do anything with that attention, they're going to go right on to the next thing. The rest of their day, they've got other stuff that they're not worried about you and your business and what you're selling. Like they're on to the next thing so quick. So like we got to capture them while we got their attention.
And I think the clarity here is that think of yourself like a venue, right? You can have a beautiful venue, amazing photos, amazing website, but if you don't have a venue manager, the mechanism, you're not going to have sales because there's going to be no one to talk to, no one to book, and nothing's going to turn into sales. So if you're a restaurant, you want to serve the best cheeseburger or the best fish and chips. If you do not have a fryer to make fries to go with that burger, chances are, or if you don't have the right fryer and the right grease to make the fish and chips the best ever, you're missing the mechanism. You can't do it tabletop or like on a pan. If you're a winery, you're missing the mechanism of making wine. You have the vineyards, you have the grapes, you have the pickers. But if you don't have a winery, you can't process to sell it. And I think if you miss one of those mechanisms of the conversion, it can be detrimental to your business. And I think we just miss that because all the people selling us all the pretty things, the websites, the social media, the Instagram page, the social media manager named Susie, who's amazing, but doesn't really care about my business. She just cares about the vanity play and like making more beautiful sites. Those are great. But if they don't suggest to you that you need to have the conversion tool, the mechanism, they are the wrong partners for you. And the ones who I love working with, that's why I love working with you guys, is that you get it. You say, hey, here's a high value content offer. If you want to make the shift from where you are now to where you want to be later, you're going to have some kind of clear offer that makes me jump out of my ass and say, here's my email address. Stay in contact with me because you guys are cool, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it can make a really big difference when done right. There's a handful of mistakes that folks make when they do this. I want to share, and then I've got a specific story from about 8-9 years ago where literally like one word made the difference in $100 million in sales. When it just shows you the scale at which this thing can get right when you get it dialed in. And you look at some of the biggest brands out there, it's why they spend so much time, so much money trying to get the messaging right, trying to get their brand right. And I think, there's plenty out there, and we'll save this discussion for another day, who are like brand marketers where, like you said, we can spend a lot of time on the logo, the look and feel, all that, and it can just be a waste of time and a waste of money. But the ones that are actually really good at what they do understand how that turns into dollars and cents. And the same thing is true with these kind of high value content offers, or we call a hell yes hand raiser. Like, again, a reason, like a piece of content or something, a reason why someone would give you their email address. So one of the most common mistakes that people make is when they go to, they're like, okay, Gabriel, Brady, like I'm bought in. I need a hell yes hand raiser. I need a high value content offer. I need some bait that I can throw out there on my site and my social so people will give me their email. Cool. I created this thing. But they start with the creation of the thing. They're like, hey, I'm going to create this recipe guide or this downloadable or this calendar or a discount coupon or an invitation to my bourbon club. Like they start with the thing and they don't start with the packaging of the thing. I know you know what Mr. Beast and his team and any other like professional YouTuber, what is the first thing that they start with before they create any single video? They start with the title. They start with the thumbnail. They start with the packaging. They don't create the video. They don't create the outline. They start with the packaging of the thing because they know the first job, like before they can get anybody to watch their video, before they can get a new subscriber, before they can get an advertiser to pay them to put, that's going to fund the video, they have to get somebody to click on the video and it has to be an idea worth clicking on, and that's usually the thumbnail and the title. So the same thing is true with a good lead magnet or a good hand raiser, a good high value content offer, a good piece of bait. It has to be like, okay, well, literally, like, it could be the same exact thing. One, you could have 4 different restaurants that have a bourbon club, and depending upon what they name the thing and how they package it, it's going to perform completely differently, even if you're marketing it to the same market. Like, I'll show you how this works and the literal dollars and cents that you're leaving on the table if you do this wrong. 2014, buddy of mine, his name's Jeremy. He shut down his financial advisory practice, realized he was not, he was a better, at the time, he was a better marketer than he was a financial person, better investor. Now he's actually really savage at both. But at the time he's like, hey, I love the marketing stuff more. I'm going to start a marketing agency. So he spins up this agency, Strike Point Media, gets me bought in on the vision. I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm down for the cause. Let's work on this thing. I think this could be really fun. We could help. There's a lot of wealth managers and financial folks out there that just have crappy, boring marketing. Let's help them. He knew a guy named Adam. Adam sold gold, precious metals. He worked for a gold brokerage. People nearing retirement or in retirement would be like, hey, Adam, like, I need to protect my wealth. Like, I want to take, 100K of my 401k and I want to put it into gold. He would sell them gold. He left that brokerage and goes, I think I could do it better, which like most of us entrepreneurs do at some point. We're like, oh, I had this experience. Like, I could do it better. I'm going to like put up my shingle. I'm going to do this for myself. And he had a relationship with Jeremy. So we're like, hey, like we've got this agency. Like, we can help you. We did everything. We came up with the name, the logo, the website, the initial marketing. We looked at what other gold companies were doing. They were advertising on radio and in email. So we go, okay, we're going to do the same thing. And we spent Adam's money for like 6 months. And you know this as an agency owner, when you spend somebody's money for months and months and months and you don't make them any money back, you tend to get fired or at least get nervous. You start having these conversations of like, hey, how long are we going to keep doing this? And Jeremy, about 6 months in goes, okay, just give me one more shot. Like, explain it to me one more time, what it is that you guys do. Like, why would somebody buy gold from you? And he goes, Adam goes, okay, well, yeah, a lot of our clients, they come to us because, they're nearing retirement. When you reach a certain age at retirement, you have to start like liquidating the assets in your retirement. You have to turn it into cash. And when that happens, you have to pay taxes on it. So like if you've got money in an investment and you take a withdrawal, which you have to do at a certain age, you start getting taxed on that money. And there's this special piece of the tax code that treats gold a little bit differently. So you can go look and see what gold is trading at. In fact, like if I were to look today, I'll look up real quick just to see like what's the spot price of gold. So if I look at spot price of gold to see what gold is trading at per day, it's a certain amount kind of like per ounce. Where can I find? There you go. Yeah, so right now, as of today, gold is trading at $4,912 per ounce. So let's say I have a coin that's a half an ounce of gold. The spot price of gold would say, hey, that's $2,400 worth of gold. Now that coin, like a trading card, like a Michael Jordan rookie card, any kind of, Joe Montana, you know, you can tell how old I am, I guess, by the figures that I choose. It might be worth $10,000. So the coin might be worth 10, but the gold itself is only worth 2,000. Well, the tax code says you're only taxed on the $2,000, not the 10. And that's when Jeremy got, and he's like, oh, wait, hold on one sec. So it's kind of like a loophole. It's like a legal loophole to where instead of paying taxes on 10, I'm paying taxes on 2. So I'm saving a lot on taxes. It's a legal loophole. And Adam goes, yeah, you could say it that way. And literally that one word made all the difference. We had the lead magnet already. We had the guide, why someone should buy gold. We just changed the title, and it became the IRS loophole. And now, 11 years later, 12 years later, every single gold company has an IRS loophole guide. They didn't then. We were the first ones to create that. Jeremy came up with that, and it was the packaging of that thing that turned everything around. That company went to do $100 million in less than 2 years and is still crushing it today. Just goes to show you that, again, you can have the right information, the right thing, something that is really great and valuable, but if you don't start with packaging it correctly, the right title, the right packaging, it's going to fall flat on its face. And sometimes, now I'm not saying you're going to go make $100 million. That's like the extra, like that is the best story that I've got in terms of packaging things up. But it just goes to show you like how powerful it could be when you get the packaging right.
I love that story. It resonates hard. So, when you think about people and individuals who are trying to figure out how to put, where do you start? Like, how do you diagnose that you have a non-offer environment or ecosystem?
Totally. Yeah, it's a great question. There's two angles that we can come at it from. There's one that I prefer, but sometimes when we're stuck in brainstorming, we have to go from the other side. So the two sides we look at is the pain side, like what are some of the problems that I could solve, which for a lot of the businesses that I work with service businesses and things, that can be pretty easy. For, a dog trainer, a contractor, a consultant, a coach, a speaker, it's like, oh, that's pretty easy. For hospitality brands, but that might, thinking of, okay, well, what are the problems that I'm solving, and convenience. So we might look at the other side of the coin, which are, hey, what are the things of value that I could offer that my clients, my patrons want? So we could look at the pain side, or we could look at the pleasure side. Okay, like what's something that I could give away for free that satisfies a desire that they have, right? So Rayo's in New York. I don't know how many, do you know how many tables they have like at the actual like Rayo's? But I know the way that restaurant works is kind of like season tickets, right? Where essentially if you're a patron of Rayo's, like you have a table on a certain night and that is like your table. There's no way to get in there unless kind of you have a connection to that person and are able to kind of like get in there, right? So it's like, okay, well, what would Rayo's have? Well, they also have their spaghetti sauce brand where I can go to Costco and get Rayo's. I can go purchase that. So you kind of have to think through yourself too, like, okay, well, here's the things that someone would pay for us. What are the things that are connected to what we deliver on? When we deliver an experience to someone, whether it's because they purchase our product, our wine, or they come in for an experience to our restaurant, or they book a stay at our hotel. What are the things that are related to that? My wife and I celebrated our 15-year wedding anniversary a couple years ago, went down to Tulum, stayed at this really cool like boutique hotel. There was actually two of them. There's like kind of a group of this hotel, group. We stayed at two of them, and they knew we were coming down there for our anniversary. Well, before we ever had booked that stay, I can tell you the problems that I was looking to solve was like, when do I go to Tulum? Hey, I've heard that there is this thing. I forget what they call it. It's a special. It's not seaweed, but it's kind of like seaweed.
Kelp?
It's not even kelp. It has a different word for. I'll have to find. But there's a season where like when the Gulf is like churning up, all of this crap shows up on, like it all comes up on the beach, and like every morning it's just like more and more of this kelp, which kind of stink, like it literally smells bad. So you're like in this beautiful area, but
as kids we used to like run out there and we would drape ourselves in like sea creatures.
You'd be like the sickest like ghillie suit. You're like, I look like American Sniper, like SEAL.
Yeah.
Like
and
Goonies style.
It was great. It was like a dog running out in the backyard and rolling in something.
Right.
But the kids were doing it. Got the parents really riled up.
Totally. Yeah. But it's like, while I'm in research mode, I'm looking for, when's the best time to go? What are the hotels that actually manage that and they clean it up daily versus don't? What are things that I could do, excursions that I could do, depending upon the kind of anniversary trip that I want? Like, hey, do you want an adventurous anniversary trip or do you want a pampered one? And to have some kind of like travel guide. Like that's a very simple idea of there's problems that I wanted to solve and desires that I had, that if I saw that freebie, like, hey, here's our, anniversary guide to do Tulum right for the adventurer couple, or for, the relaxation away from the kids kind of a thing. So the way we start, back to your question, we either start with the pain, We get very specific about like a micro problem. Again, think like a splinter size problem that we could solve for someone in like 10, 15 minutes. Like you want to be able to solve it quickly. Or we flip it over to the desire side. Like what's the pleasure, the desire that we could similarly solve in 10 to 15 minutes, very quickly, very easily with this freebie that we give them.
Yeah, and I think the word freebie is kind of like offsetting to some folks, because
Yeah.
it sounds like something of non-value. And I think that's the paradigm that has to be shifted here, because if you want to start to build trust, for example, on my Instagram, I'm putting out a lot of content. It's not performing the greatest. Some things do good, some things do okay. But at the end of the day, what hit in the last month was my guide to eating in Atlanta. And it was literally the one thing that everybody asked me all the time. Hey, do you have a list of recommendations? And literally the guide starts off on the Instagram carousel. I get this asked this 100 times a year.
Yeah.
So people think that I'm an authority in that space because I guess I'm a fat ass and I like to eat out of
The kids call it a big back. Yeah, you're a big back, which doesn't mean that you're overweight. It just means you like to eat.
And so I'm kind of like the Neanderthal of calories, I guess. And I love it. But I get asked that question a lot. So think about what's in your business. I call it the purse. What's the value that you're kind of hiding when people are like, oh, if somebody says, oh, hey, can you hold my purse? And you start going through it, you feel invaded, right? What's in your purse that people ask you to show them? Like, hey, can I see your compact? Hey, can I see your pen? Hey, can I see your checkbook? I'm not giving you my checkbook. That's the offer. What is the thing that people are like, wow, they're giving that up? That's the secret sauce, the little toy, the tool, the something that makes their life better. Or even, and here's another thing, it might just be something that they think it's going to change their life and they'll never use it, but it's so compelling that they say, oh my gosh, if I had this from that person, my life would be different. And I think the formula. So we spent a lot of time talking about high value content offers, and I want to give it to you. And I want to hear your opinion because everybody's got a different one. Do X, get Y result in Z time without common mistakes.
Yeah.
And this, so let me give you an example. Go to these amazing restaurants and have amazing food, and I'm going to save you a bunch of time because I just gave you the list, and you're not going to go out to places that you think are great that suck because they're not on the list. So I just saved a solution for you, and you're like, all right, I like it. Now, hey, IRS loophole. Learn this IRS loophole, save some money. It's going to take you 10 minutes, and you're going to avoid talking to your accountant and them not knowing the rules, and you just hand them the playbook, and it's done, right?
Yeah.
Easy solution. Yep. So is that the formula, or do you have a different formula?
Or that's a great one. There's kind of a number of different frameworks that we've got and kind of a toolkit that I share with our clients yesterday. So I'll share a couple of them. I'll just kind of read these off and kind of some examples. So one of the ones that, similar to what you just mentioned, how to get result in time frame without pain. So for example, hey, how to book 5 sales calls in 7 days without running ads. We have one that, people love numbers. Numbers are really good, on the marketing side, because people pay attention to them. So it gets people at least starting to read kind of what your high value content offer is. We've got a vocal coach here in Nashville that has worked with some of the biggest names out there, from Taylor Swift on down, and they help people become better singers and kind of break into the music industry. We crafted one for them kind of following this framework, which would be number of things that gets result for specific kind of person, right? And the thing for them was the 7 deadly sins that are guaranteed to destroy your voice. Because if you are an artist and you're trying to increase your range and book more gigs and just really become better at your craft so that you can make it big in the music industry, don't you like, would you want to know the things that you are like guaranteed to destroy your voice? Absolutely. Cause they're like, I don't want to do those things. I want to do the other things. So sometimes it can fall on that negative side of things. Sometimes it can be positive. So, if you did an Atlanta thing, it would be the top three, most popular restaurants to absolutely avoid on your Atlanta trip it's the inverse, right? Where you're like, you're kind of throwing some shade, but you're saving people too. You're like, hey, everyone's going to tell you to go do X, but you should do Y instead. Can be a really great way of doing it. Flip side too, I think of when I was a young man. I'm still young-ish, but when I was a much younger man, I would make a poor man's Paloma and I forget how I discovered it, but I would use a squirt soda, a little mezcal, and a little bit of Serrano. And it was like, that in and of itself could be one of these high value content offers where it's like, hey, do you want my poor man's Paloma recipe? They get it inside of 3 seconds. They give you their email address, and then you can start a conversation about it.
I mean, the big win here is, get world-class cocktail recipes for half the cost. That will save you a lot of pain and suffering trying to come up with things and wasting product. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like the other one that I loved the other day I wrote for someone was, here's my 3-ingredient umami bomb to keep in the fridge always to save any recipe that might be disastrous.
Oh, there you go. Heck yeah.
Now, you just have to think, which chef am I going to get that from?
Yep.
Now, is it a fake item? No, it's called ketchup. Ketchup. I don't know. I'm not saying that's the thing. I do have my personal umami bomb. So if you want that, you can go ahead and DM me the word bomb at Instagram. You see how it works?
Yeah.
You're like, oh my gosh, like I want that for my house. And you see the instant value. So what it has to be is it has to be, invisible in intent, I think, to the user that I want your email address so I can put you through a nurture sequence and then make my offer. Versus saying, hey, you get my special thing up today. I'll give you my secret thing out of my purse of high value to me, my secret sauce. You give me your email address. The transaction is complete. I save you some time. And now you trust me a little bit enough to listen to a couple of my emails, and hopefully I'll make an offer to you. Versus going straight for the kill.
Totally.
Like,
yeah.
Hey, Gabe, here's my thing. You want it? You're like, yeah. And I'm like, want to buy my other stuff? You're like, bait and switch.
Oh, dude, I bought 2 cheesecakes at Costco for Thanksgiving that I was not planning on buying. And it was amazing. And I'm so glad that I did too, because, this is why Costco does samples, by the way, because they want to give results in advance. They're banking on the fact they're like, hey, we're going to give some of this away. Like the majority of people aren't going to buy the thing, but enough are that it's going to move product. Now this cheesecake company actually set up a booth in Costco. So they were handing out samples. They could have just gone, not handed out samples, and been, Thanksgiving is in 3 days. Do you want the best cheesecake? We have the best cheesecake. By the way, we're going to be gone tomorrow, and we're taking all of this with us when we go, which is what they did. Like they were kind of like the traveling cheesecake show at the Costco, right? But instead, what they did, they had all the samples out. Of course, my kids want samples, and then secretly I do too. So I'm like, all right, give me some of that. And what did that allow? I then had a conversation with this kid. He was probably 21, 22 years old. I loved it because it just, when you're good at this stuff, I love watching other people who are good at this stuff too. And I'm like, oh, this kid gets it even more so than the 50-year-old folks that were employing him to work the booth there. But he got it. And what he got was, he invited us first to have the sample, and then while we were there, he started a conversation with us. What are you guys doing for Thanksgiving? By the way, we have all of these, and here's the price for them, and they're going to be all gone tomorrow. If you like them, you might want to pick 1 or 2 up. And we ended up buying 2 cheesecakes. Again, it wasn't we didn't go into Costco planning to buy cheesecakes, but all of a sudden it was like, oh, we're bringing 2 of these home with us, because he started with the high value content offer just to get our attention, which that's the value exchange. When you said when I mentioned the word freebie, that might turn some people off. This is not free. people are giving you one of the most valuable things, which is their attention, their email address, their time. And that's the exchange that allows the conversation to happen, to then the cash flow will follow the conversation.
So there's two things here that are very interesting. One, the value of email for time, or if I give you my email, I expect you're probably going to spam or email me, right? That's the choice you have. But if I give you an email address and do nothing with it, well, you got zero chances of making any money off me.
Yeah.
You're just waiting for me to come back. So do something with it. If you have a button on your website, please do something with it. If you don't have high value contents on your offers on your website, do something about it. If you don't have a conversion tool like a CRM to run it from there to closure, do something about it.
Yeah.
But the thing that kind of came up to mind is like this. All right, I have an idea. You want to hear the idea, Gabe?
I do.
I think you guys, if we have the technology to do this, then we're going to create the world's best high value content offer right here for one of our companies. I don't know which one. Ready?
Let's do it.
So, all right. Free sample Saturdays. You give me, like, if you could build me an AI bot that goes out and finds all the places that have all the free samples on a Saturday, then I'm going to say on my restaurant blog or my Instagram or my social media, whatever, I'm going to be like, do you want to eat free food all day Saturday before going to a world-class meal? Here's how you save a lot of money without all the pain. We got it for you. Send me your, drop the Saturday like feast in my Instagram DMs and we'll send it to you. Now we've got a little tool that runs automation to give people the list and their zip code of all the places they can go get free food all day. It doesn't matter if you're poor or you're a billionaire. Everybody is going to be interested in that list. Well, maybe not everybody, but I'm going to click on it to see what's running free food all day, right?
Totally.
Now, when someone clicks on that, I know who they are. I'm going to seg them into they like free shit. And we run that through the course of nurturing. And basically, I put that up on social media. I do a blog post about it. I do it on website. I do it on paid ads. And then I see what hits. And then out of those efforts at what hits, I go and I put more money down on that. Every time I put more money down on that, I get a better, lower cost of acquisition of a client opportunity. Those opportunities are dropped into a CRM tool. Those CRM tools then deliver me 7, 8 emails over the next 3 weeks. And we tell them about what we do and how cool we are and what we do as a business. And next thing you know, we've got a high value content offer that's off and running. Benefit to me, I get to eat free for every Saturday. Benefit to the people, they get free cheesecake at Costco.
Heck yes. No, I love it. I mean, that idea you just shared too, like that's how Groupon literally got started, which essentially was going to a bunch of local businesses and saying, hey, you know, local taco shop, local ice cream shop, we all serve the same customers. What if we could get someone to give us their email address in exchange for 10% off whatever this time, and then we shared that list. And so what happened was there are all these little kind of micro markets of local businesses that were then able to build a bigger email list together to then follow up with those folks. And it's because, you know, one of them would say, hey, we'll give you this discount, or you get, you know, a free burger on your birthday, a birthday burger. Just give us your email.
I like how that
birthday
ring.
Burger.
Free birthday,
Birthday
free burger
burger.
on your birthday. That's a jingle.
I like that a lot. Yeah, that's good. That's a good
Free
one.
burger on your birthday. I'd be like, send that to like whoever. Like you get like somebody taking their friends out to lunch.
Totally.
And who cares? You put the burger down as an app. What's it cost you for 4 friends to come in and have a birthday lunch? Probably the highest spending lunch out of the room that day, because someone's going to have a drink, and then the next person's going to get caught drinking, and then they're going to be like, we're not going to go back to work, and then if it turns into a 3 martini lunch, all because you gave them a goddamn birthday burger.
The birthday
Please
burger.
listen up, you. Yeah, hit me with, you want a free bottle of rosé? You can't induce them on alcohol, but let's talk about other things that you can give them.
Yeah.
The birthday burger jingle.
And one of my favorite ways to do that too, because, you know, sometimes like, okay, like how do I do this? And I know you guys talk about our socials and we got to be DMing people and sending compliments. Is we just throw that, whether you do that out on a post on social and you get people to comment or DM you a word, then my question back is always just like, hey, like where's the best place to send that? and I can specifically ask for an email or a phone number. So if you're wanting to do like more text message marketing and updates, and we can do it that way, or through email, I recommend probably starting with email. But it's like, hey, where do you want me to send that?
Let's talk about this. I think there's a differentiator because
Yeah.
I have potential clients or clients who are like, well, we got a CRM tool. And I'm like, okay, well, what do you do with that CRM tool? I don't know. The team does it. Well, as a business owner, that's negligent. How do you make your burger? We put it in a cast iron thing with this. We finish with this cheese and this kind of like sauce, and it's toasted bun. Like, it's delicious. That's how you should have that same feeling about your product in digital state, right? Once you know it, you know it. Don't be clueless to it, right? That's where you're losing money. But let's get away from that negligent business mindset, right? I've been there. I've done it. And let's talk about like, what is the shift? If you look at emails, there is every single AI bot, fixer, every filter, and spam folders that are filtering your crap out of their inbox. You put your logo at the top, number one, you're going to get filtered out. If not, they have an EA. And that EA is going, the people who have enough money in the chain who have EAs are going to filter it out anyways. Unless you tell your EA that this stuff is important, I guarantee you it's probably not going to fall on the important list. Then after that, you have phone, text, right? If someone texts me, it goes straight to delete spam. Like you're not available on my phone unless I know who you are or I'm waiting for your text. So that's invasive to me personally. And then you've got DMs. DMs, to me, compared to email, 20% open rate on emails, plus all those unknown filters. That just means the EA opens it. It doesn't mean it reaches your intended audience. Yeah. Only people reading their email are old people right now. Sorry, old people, I love you, but thank you for making the world a greater place. Then you have, on the other side, DMs. You have a 80% open rate because people are there for this type of shit every single day. So what we have looped in our email is one, and then two, what kind of CRM do you work, right? So if you have a CRM that does not integrate and you're investing money into social media, you need a CRM that incorporates Instagram and Facebook. 1000%. Facebook alone is not enough. Instagram. So when I ask potential clients, hey, do you guys have Instagram attached to it? No. Or I don't know. That's the problem. I don't know means you have a pain point and you're not aware of how much money you're losing every single month. Do you have a social media manager? Yep. Do you have a CRM tool attached to Instagram? I don't know. Problem, AKA number one, right? That tells us everything we need to know. But that's the system. Do you not have it connected? If you're spending money on Instagram, so here's the fix. As of recently, ManyChat comes out a system, right? Every new follower, so I put out a high value content offer. It's running today. Put out a high value content offer from our last podcast, the Humanation Index. So I sent out an email yesterday. It's running today. It goes out. It says, hey, do you want the Humanation Index report? Yes. All you got to do is follow me, and it automatically sends to new followers my gift vault that you would. But to get that gift vault, it says, thanks for the new follow, Gabe. Really appreciate you. Now you're fam. Here's blah, blah, blah. And then, do you want my gift? And you have to engage back. And you say, yeah, send it over. Then it's boom. You get the link to my vault. But to do that, I asked for your email address. So now I've got you captured on Instagram and I got captured on email. Now I have a twice better chance of communicating with you if the system is in flow.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah,
and
1000%.
That's the break. That's what splits the crowd right now with CRM tools. Salesforce, no. Klaviyo, no. HubSpot, no. These tools do not connect to Instagram.
Yeah, they've got to talk to each other because you can't think.
Well, they don't. We don't want them to. We want to. we're operating in the right lane. You know.
Totally. Yeah. No, that's why we have the platform that we built and how we built it, because you can't look at these conversation channels in these silos. You're not speaking to an email inbox. You're not speaking to a social media profile. You're not speaking to a cell phone. You're speaking to a person, and that person, you want to be able to communicate across all of those different channels. I'll tell you when email does work really well is when you have an incredible killer high value content offer, that free birthday burger, they're like, oh my gosh, that burger was like the best burger that I had, and I didn't even have to pay for it. And you back it up with the brand and the experience and the delivery that like oh shoot, what's the book? The hospitality book, the Unreasonable Hospitality. Yeah. You back it up with unreasonable hospitality. That's when you get folks actually looking for your messages. They're looking for your emails. They're looking for your text messages and DM. And now you've got a CRM where you're able to have this conversation across multiple platforms, but really you're able to see it as one single conversation thread. Hey, I want to see the emails, the text messages, the social DMs all in one place because I'm treating this person like a person, not as just another lead or this follower. It's because then if you do that, if you're just interacting with them inside of ManyChat or some other, or Instagram even itself, you're missing the context of the emails and the text messages and the other piece, and vice versa. If you're just looking at the emails but you're not paying attention to the social conversation, you're not only leaving money on the table, you run the risk of doing more damage to your brand and reputation, which is just even more costly in the long run, because you look like you're asleep at the wheel. You look like your name of the show, ghosting people.
Here's the problem with unreasonable hospitality. It operates in a micro ecosystem. And what I mean by that is that it's for the select few. They were able to take an experience and a world and make it very special. And they used the money they made off of all of their customers to selectively benefit a few. And it's a great story, right? The part of that that's the only thing that's unique to me is that it only happened on site. And that's why I call it a micro system, a micro ecosystem. Yeah. It only happened on site. And when people ask me about the book, I say, yeah, it's like the most beautiful coffee like site in the world. It takes care of its own. When you're there, it's a magical experience, but most people don't ever have the chance to go to that coffee field in the side of Costa Rica. Like, that's just never going to be their thing, right? So, yeah, it's great. Like, sustainable coffee fields work. But what is the message that takes it to, like, they never took that unreasonable hospitality and put it in the book and said, here's how you do it as a digital concierge. Here's how you make people feel seen before they arrive. They waited till after the effect. And that is my beef with unreasonable hospitality, is that it only helps you see if you're operating at $300 plus per person, per dinner, per guest, per night, that you have the ability to make some unique decisions after you've run the course for an X amount of time to scale. And you've built up that kind of opportunity to have your experienced managers and the happy maker, the happy rainmakers, as I say, right?
Yeah.
But on a digital side, you have to be able to look at what can you do with micro interactions with your guest through Instagram to make them feel seen before they arrive. And that, I think, is unreasonable hospitality in the digital state. And I don't think that was covered in the book. And that's why I think from a holistic part, it's a micro ecosystem and not an overall ecosystem. So hopefully they'll come up with unreasonable hospitality for the digital age, but I think that's my job. So here we go.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the difference between, what I call like adopting versus adapting. We can look at, and we should look at, players in our industry that are crushing it to see what are the things that they're doing, what are the strategies that they're using, what's the approach, the philosophy, the day-to-day tactics that we could do in our business to get similar results. What are the things that they're doing in that book that I could apply to my restaurant? But what's more important is adapting it and taking it and going, okay, well, yeah, if this could be true from the time that someone shows up at my front door to they leave and pay the check, like, what could be even more true if I took the same philosophy, the same principles, and then expanded that to, before they ever showed up and 6 months after they came in to be with me.
Well, it's all about adapting. It's very true. When you look at a timeline, like, to become part of the elite few, you have to go eat there. Mm-hmm. They don't want to try to capture the 97% because they have a limited inventory, right? They're getting the 3% who can make it there. And I'm not talking about the 3% of top income getters in the world. I'm talking about the 3% who actually want to go there. The 97% of the traffic they didn't curate or go after because they're already at capacity. And that's a great problem to have, right? But you have to remember that a lot of businesses in hospitality don't have that special magic superpower to create whatever they want out of anything, right? At any point in time. And, you know, I never got a free gift there. I had an amazing experience, not to put that aside. And I would say it was unreasonable when I was there and I loved it. But from a digital standpoint, we're just saying, be human. What they did in the book is they said, we took hospitality to a new level of humanness. Mm-hmm. And I think that is what the win was there and why it got such a chord. But, you know, I don't think they're trying to solve the digital hospitality problem, and I'm not even going to say it, but that's my take, is that it's just really important that you see that today, with automation on the way, that if you're going to harness some of this automation for your business with high value content offers and email nurturing and tech, and sounds too much, you still have to have that human harness on there. And the human harness is what's going to be hospitality as we know it in the future. And if you don't think about it right now, I think you're missing the boat.
Boom. Drop the mic. Need the hell yes hand raiser, and you don't want to leave the humanness behind. I love that. Yeah, because it's, again, the last thing I'll share on this. You know, we talked about kind of some of the mistakes that people make, and I shared some of the big ones, not packaging it well, but then it's not using it as a tool to build a bridge, because the best businesses out there are the ones that take something like the IRS loophole. They don't just send the thing out there. They use it to start a conversation. They give you the free sample of cheesecake to start a conversation. And so figuring out, like, okay, like the same way that you would know exactly how you prepare that burger, but you don't know that about your CRM and what your social media manager is doing, you need to do that. You need to craft that experience of like, okay, great, we have this thing now that we're putting out in the world that we're going to use to give people a compelling reason to actually reach out to give us their email. What do I do with it next? Which, you know, I know you know the phrase we got from Dan, right, that we'll use a lot of times in social, which is when you get a new follower, you can do something as simple as, hey, Brady, thanks so much for the follow. Quick question. Are you just here for the content, or are you looking to grow your business? Right? Like that simple question is a great conversation starter. So again, we can do the same thing with our high value content offers, where once you have it and you put it together, but again, you need a CRM to be able to like manage all of these conversations. But if you get somebody requesting your thing, then it's just as simple as going like, hey, here's the free thing you just requested, or hey, just added you to the list for Bourbon Club, or hey, I made sure to lock in your birthday burger. Excited to see you then. Quick question. And then, are you just here for, the free thing? Are you just here for the birthday burger, or are you insert blank and you can put in the thing you want to have the conversation about?
And here's where I think that one's broken. Is that you jump right to it. It feels like a speed to lead close. Mm-hmm. And I don't feel hospitality is that way. And this has been my challenge with sell by chat and social selling systems, which you can tell now when you've got a setter or a bot on you. And I think the way that we make it real is that, like, when I'm on there, I'm like, yo, check out your profile. That trip looked amazing. Was that recent? Are you guys have any big trips coming up? Quick, like, human check. Hey, dude, that race, I mean, if I see him on a bike and he's finishing, like, racing, I'm like, that race looked intense. Congrats, man. Huge win. Just showing up is half the battle, right? Any more coming up this year? Then they respond. But you show up, like, just a little bit with, like, a simple I see you.
Yeah.
And that's making them feel seen. And then when they come back, hey, out of curiosity, were you here for the free burger, or have you been into our restaurant before? Because we got both. And they're like, yes. And then you've got a framework. And I think the script in DM is never, ever going to be able to happen on email. So if you're wasting your time Email marketing is a shotgun. It is a once in a year, they remember how much hard work you're putting in to be in front of them, but they're not really going to communicate with you on email. And if you take that 20%, then you take the bots and the AEAs and knock that down to 5%, and then you hope that you're going, like, it's just a rep. It's just putting your message into their world, and hopefully they stay on so you can gauge. That's a feeling that I've kind of been taking away a little bit. But you'll never be able to have this interaction with anything else but Instagram. And back again. If you don't have a CRM tool that does this, you're going to leave a lot of money on the table unless you've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of emails and a restaurant that survives or a business that survives on email business only, right? Yeah. So I don't know. I think people can tell a lot about how you care or see them by the way you reach out to them.
100%. Yeah, quit leaving money on the table. Engage with people. Use the tools so that you could be more human, because that's going to become more and more important as we go into this world with more and more robots, more and more AI, more and more technology, more and more screens. People are going to crave the humanness more. So use those things, use the tools to then be able to put more of yourself, more of your personal brand, more of the connection piece, more of the unreasonable stuff. To be able to put more of that into your relationships and connections, and you'll win in this new economy for sure.
There it is.
I think that's the pod.
That's a pod.